Christmas was always my thing. I'm Jake, 29 years old, and I've been the self-appointed holiday coordinator in my family since I was 21. It started the year my parents split. Everyone was kind of lost. Awkward silences around the dinner table, weirdly timed texts about maybe doing something small this year, and my little cousins whispering that they missed real Christmas. So I stepped up, booked a cabin, organized Secret Santa, cooked most of the food, and somehow made everyone feel like it was still magic. After that, it stuck. Year after year, they'd all wait for my group text in October asking, "Same plan this year?" I didn't mind. Honestly, I loved it. Planning stuff gave me purpose, especially around the holidays when I wasn't exactly swimming in my own social plans. I'm not married, no kids, not even really dating anyone serious. Meanwhile, my older brother Ryan, he's 34, has the suburban checklist: wife, 2 kids, labradoodle, soccer games on the weekends, and the energy of a guy who's constantly posting vague status updates like family first, always. We're different, let's put it that way. Ryan's the golden boy. He was always the one with the perfect GPA, the loud laugh at the dinner table, the guy my aunts would compare their sons to with a sigh. I was the quieter one, the organizer, the helper. The "thanks for taking care of that, Jake" guy? No one asked if I wanted to be that guy. It just sort of became expected. The funny thing is, I don't think Ryan even liked Christmas that much. He didn't like the driving, the logistics, the noise. But he liked the attention. Being the one to walk in late with a big bag of gifts, getting the kids to cheer his name like he was Santa himself. I never minded. I liked being in the background. I just wanted people to be happy. And if I'm being honest, I wanted to feel included. This year, though, something felt off. It started small. I sent the usual message in early October, asking if everyone wanted the same lodge we've been going to for the past 3 years. It's this beautiful place tucked into the mountains about 2 hours from where we all grew up. A little expensive, sure, but we split the cost. I cover the deposit and manage the whole booking, and then everyone Venmos me later. I sent the message, same as always. Got the usual replies, "Sounds great. Thanks, Jake, you're the best." Except from Ryan. No reply. Not for 2 days. Then he finally texted, "Actually, we're thinking of doing something different this year. More local. With all the kids, you know." That was it. No apology for the delay. No, "What do you think?" Just a decision. "We're thinking." As if he speaks for everyone. So I asked for details. Where? When? Who's organizing? And he just said they were figuring it out. I let it go. Figured maybe they were stressed, or maybe I was overreacting. A week later, my mom called me and said she assumed I was still handling Christmas, same as always. She hadn't heard anything different. Neither had my cousins. So I went ahead and booked the lodge again. Sent out the confirmation email with the check-in info. Even put together a shared Google Doc for food and gifts. Everyone seemed on board. Still, Ryan never filled out his section. Fast forward to the first week of December, and he finally calls me. That alone was weird. Ryan never calls. It's always voice memos or short texts. But now he was suddenly friendly, chatty, like we were best friends again. He said he had some bad news. Apparently, there was a scheduling issue. His family accidentally double-booked something else on the same weekend as the lodge trip. His wife's parents were flying in from out of state. He sounded sheepish, almost like he wanted me to be the one to offer a solution. "It's just bad timing, bro," he said. "Total mix-up. But hey, what if we pushed Christmas back a week? Or maybe did something closer to home?" I was quiet for a second. "Everyone's already planned around the original date, Ryan. Flights are booked. Deposits are in. It's not that simple." He sighed like I was being difficult. "Well, we're still figuring it out," he said. "Just wanted to give you a heads up." Then he changed the subject and started talking about how his daughter was in the school play and totally killed it. Like we hadn't just nuked 3 months of planning. Something in me started to crack a little. I spent hours planning these things, not just for fun, but because I thought it mattered, that it brought people together. But more and more, I was starting to feel like I was the only one who actually cared. Especially when, 2 days later, my aunt forwarded me a message from Ryan. A group text I wasn't in. The new plan. A completely different lodge, closer to Ryan's house. A smaller one. Not enough space for everyone, but enough for family. The message was filled with cheery emojis, like this was all normal. Like I wouldn't notice. I didn't say anything. Not yet. I kept organizing the original event, kept sending updates, kept smiling in the family group chat. But inside, I was starting to feel something I hadn't felt in years. Not just hurt. Humiliated. Like I was the guy still planning a party everyone secretly bailed on. Then came the real kicker. December 21st. I texted Ryan just to confirm their ETA. I figured maybe he changed his mind. Maybe they were coming after all. He replied with a single line. Didn't Mom tell you? We moved Christmas this year. You're going to the wrong place, bro. No emoji. No smiley face. Just that. I stared at my screen for a while. Called my mom, who said she hadn't heard anything like that. Called my cousin Rachel, same story. Everyone thought we were all still going to the same lodge. Except apparently, we weren't. Ryan had peeled off and taken half the family with him. And he hadn't even told me. I should have just canceled the whole thing right then. But instead, I packed my car, bought extra snacks, printed out the check-in confirmation, and started the 5-hour drive through snow and ice toward the mountains. Because if there was still a chance people were coming, I didn't want to be the one who bailed. I got there just past midnight. Pulled into the lot. The snow was coming down in thick sheets, tires crunching under the powder. The lights were on inside, but the parking lot was empty. That should have been the sign. But I still held on to a sliver of hope. Maybe people were arriving in the morning. Maybe I was early. I dragged my suitcase across the walkway, boots squeaking on the wood steps, and unlocked the front door. The lodge was warm. Silent. I walked through the living room, past the long dining table I had reserved for 20 people. The tree was up, decorated like always. Stockings hung over the stone fireplace. It was beautiful and empty. My phone buzzed. A text from Rachel. Hey, are you already there? Ryan told us the lodge changed this year, but we weren't sure if it was a prank or not. We're with him. Where are you? I stood in the middle of the room, holding my suitcase, staring at the fireplace. My chest felt hollow. I didn't even respond. I just hit call and dialed Ryan. He picked up on the third ring, laughing. In the background, I could hear music, voices, people. Dude, he said mid-laugh. You actually went? Man, I told you, we moved it this year. Why? I asked quietly. He snorted. There's a girl who likes me, he said. And she's really into you. I didn't want you showing up and making it weird. So yeah, I lied. Sorry, man. I said nothing. Not at first. Just listened to the sound of my own breathing while the laughter continued on his end like I wasn't even there. Then something in me finally clicked. A flicker of something cold and sharp in the middle of all that hurt. I opened my email, found the confirmation, scrolled to the bottom where the cancellation policy sat like a dare. Full refund if canceled 24 hours in advance. The lodge, the catering, the staff, all booked under my name. And their real Christmas party? It was starting in 30 minutes. I stood there in the silence. The call still open, but my brother had already hung up. No goodbye, no apology. Just a click, like I was a telemarketer he got bored of. The fire crackled in the background of the lodge, probably set earlier by staff for that cozy, welcome home feeling. The feeling I'd paid for. The feeling they were giving to them. My breath fogged in the cold air near the door as I tried to make sense of what just happened. It wasn't just the lie. It was the ease of it. The casual way Ryan weaponized something I had poured hours of my life into. Like it was a joke. Like I was a joke. I walked to the dining table, set my phone down, and just stared at the place settings. 20 of them. I had written each person's name on a little pine-scented place card. I even remembered to spell Madison with 2 Ds this year. The centerpieces were handmade, small evergreen bundles with cinnamon sticks and dried oranges, tied with red twine. I remembered watching YouTube tutorials for those a week ago while sipping cocoa like some kind of Hallmark character. I sat down slowly at the head of the table, the silence so heavy it felt like a second coat. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel useful. I didn't feel appreciated. I felt played. The worst part? I kept trying to give Ryan the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he didn't mean to hurt me. Maybe this girl he mentioned was someone he really liked. Maybe he thought it would be funny. But no. That phone call, that laugh, it was intentional. He knew it would crush me, and he did it anyway. Around 1:30 a.m., I got another text. This time from my mom. Just got to the new lodge. It's cute, but smaller than I expected. Where are you? Ryan said you were stopping by later? Stopping by. As if I was some casual guest. as if I hadn't organized every Christmas since I was 21. I wanted to scream. Instead, I typed a response that just said, "Never mind. I'll talk to you later." I didn't have the energy for anything else. The next morning, I woke up in the empty lodge to the smell of cinnamon and pine and nothing else. The staff had arrived, 2 people, a young couple, asking about setup. I told them plans had changed and not to worry. I'd handle it. They looked surprised but nodded politely. After they left, I canceled the rest of the catering. No fee. Full refund. Same with the cleaning service. Same with the second night of the lodge. It was all mine, after all. Every piece of it. Then I started checking social media. Not because I wanted to torture myself, but because I wanted proof, something concrete to slap over this gut feeling that I was being lied to, excluded, pushed out. My cousin Maddie posted an Instagram story. A group selfie by a fireplace. Not this fireplace. A different one. More rustic. Smaller. My Aunt Susan was in the background, wearing the elf sweater I got her last year. The caption said, "Christmas with the whole fam." Whole fam. Not a mention of me. Not even a "wish Jake could make it," or missing someone special. Just the whole fam. It hit harder than I expected. Around noon, I got a call from my cousin Rachel. I picked up, even though my stomach flipped just seeing her name. She was one of the few people I actually considered a friend in that mess of a family. "Jake?" she said, a little breathless. "Where are you? Ryan said you were coming later, but no one's seen you." "I'm at the lodge," I said flatly. "The actual lodge. The one I booked. The one I've booked for the last 3 years." Silence. "Oh my God," she said. "Wait, what?" "I never changed the plans. No one told me there were new plans. Not until Ryan texted me the night before. You guys just left." She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Jake, I swear I thought you changed it." "That's what Ryan said. He said you wanted something smaller and that we should talk to you about the new location." I almost laughed. "Did you?" "No. I just figured you were too busy or something." "Right." Another pause. "I'm so sorry," she said, her voice smaller now. "I thought. He made it sound like you were in charge still, just not coming to this one." Of course he did. Ryan didn't remove me. He replaced me. Quietly. He made sure the credit still went to me, so he could enjoy the structure and organization without dealing with me. Like I was a template he could copy and paste. Rachel asked if I was okay, and I lied. I told her I was fine. I just needed rest. She said she'd try to come by later, and I didn't hold my breath. By the evening, more posts started showing up. Facebook, Instagram, even a short video of Ryan's kids doing a little skit by the fire. The same skit I'd written into the plan on the Google Doc no one had filled out. The decorations were eerily familiar, down to the napkin holders I'd found on sale last month and sent to the group chat as a "look how cute these are" moment. They had used everything I designed. Except me. That night, I sat on the porch of the empty lodge, wrapped in a blanket, watching the snow come down in soft sheets. My breath fogged as I scrolled through my email again, staring at the confirmation, the refund policy, the receipt. Everything in my name. Everything they were now enjoying because I had planned it first. I don't remember falling asleep. I just remember waking up cold, disoriented, my phone buzzing in my lap. It was a group text. "Ryan. Hey everyone, quick heads up. We're doing Christmas dinner in the main room at 6. Rachel, can you help Mom with the turkey? And Jake, if you're still planning to stop by, just try not to make it weird. Not the time for drama, LOL." That LOL was what broke me. That passive little smirk at the end of a betrayal. Like he knew I wouldn't do anything. Like he counted on me being too polite, too conflict avoidant, too desperate for harmony to ever actually push back. Something dark and quiet settled in me. It wasn't rage. It wasn't sadness. It was this numb, calm clarity. The kind of clarity that comes when you realize someone isn't just inconsiderate, they're calculating. They know how far they can go before you break, and they stay just inside that line. And I wasn't going to live on that line anymore. I opened my laptop, logged into the lodge account, looked over the contracts. Technically, the lodge they were in wasn't even under Ryan's name. He had called the owner a week after I booked the original lodge and reserved another property owned by the same company, a smaller lodge nearby, usually used for ski instructors or overflow guests. It wasn't meant for large parties. The owner had assumed Ryan was calling on my behalf. Ryan had used my name to secure it. That explained the email I found the day before. A copy of the contract, CC'd to me, with a note. Thanks for booking both spaces, Jake. Glad your family can all be together this year. I hadn't even seen it until now. I sat there staring at that email, and I knew, with sudden certainty, that this wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a misunderstanding. Ryan had gone behind my back, used my name, split the family, and then left me alone on Christmas because he didn't want to deal with me getting attention from a girl who liked me. I was done. I reached out to the lodge owner, asked if she could hop on a quick call. She was a sweet woman named Marlene who remembered me from the past few years. She answered within 10 minutes. I asked her to verify the names on both contracts. She confirmed it. My name on both. My card on both. My signature. She sounded confused, even a little worried. Jake, are you not staying at both lodges? No, I said. Just the one. And I won't be needing the second one. A pause. Then she said, gently, you know the Christmas party is happening there right now? Yeah, I said. But I never agreed to that. Marlene went quiet. Then she said, let me call you back in a few. I said thank you and hung up. 15 minutes later, I got an email. Subject, contract cancellation confirmation. I canceled the second lodge. Just like that. And the contract clearly stated, if the primary signer is not physically present, all guests must vacate within the hour following cancellation. No exceptions. It was all in my name. Every last bit of it. My phone buzzed again. Rachel. One word. Jake. Another buzz. This time a call. I picked up. Her voice was hushed and panicked. Did you just... Jake, everyone's freaking out. The staff said we have to leave. Ryan's arguing with them, but they said it's your name on everything. I didn't say anything. Then, quietly, she added, he's losing it. He said you're overreacting. That you're ruining Christmas. Is that true? I looked around the quiet, peaceful lodge. My lodge. The one I had booked for the family that forgot I existed. And for the first time in years, I smiled. Maybe, I said. Or maybe I'm finally starting to take my name back. After I hung up on Rachel, I just sat there. It was quiet again. Not peaceful quiet, heavy quiet. Like the air had thickened around me. I stared at the blinking cursor on my laptop screen for what felt like an hour, my mind blank. No rage, no sadness. Just emptiness. Like I'd given so much to this family, to this holiday, to them, that there was nothing left inside me to even react. I was supposed to be there with them, laughing, drinking hot cider, watching the kids open their matching pajamas. I should have been part of the photos, the traditions, the stories they'd tell next year. Instead, I was a ghost haunting a cabin I paid for. That night, I didn't sleep. I just lay on the couch in the lodge, staring at the ceiling beams while the wind howled outside. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Ryan smirk when he said, "Didn't want you making it weird." Every time I turned my head, I saw the empty chair beside me that should have been filled with family. By morning, the numbness gave way to something else. Not anger. Not yet. More like exhaustion with a pulse. I packed my things, stripped the bed, left the key on the kitchen counter, and drove home in silence. 5 hours through snow-covered roads with no music, no podcasts. Just the occasional buzz of a phone I refused to check. I needed to get away. From them. From Christmas. From the part of me that still hoped they'd call and apologize. They didn't. Not that day. Not the next. When I finally checked my messages, I had 3 unread texts from my mom. The first said, "Heard what happened. I'm sure it was a misunderstanding. Don't let this ruin the holiday, honey." The second was shorter. "You know how your brother is. He means well, just isn't great with stuff." The third, "Next year, let's all just talk more clearly, okay? Next year." Like we were already skipping past what happened. Like my pain was a scheduling conflict they'd circle back to in Q4. Ryan never texted. Not once. I didn't go to New Year's. I didn't answer calls. And when I started getting Venmo requests in early January for Christmas dinner and lodging share, I ignored them. Let them wonder. Let them stew. I spent that entire first week of January holed up in my apartment. Curtains drawn, lights dim, still not ready to face the world. I called in sick to work and told my boss I had the flu, but really I was just drifting. I felt like a deflated version of myself. I didn't want to see people. I didn't want to cook. I didn't want to plan. And that was the scariest part. Because planning was always my thing. Even when life sucked, planning gave me control. It made me feel needed. Useful. But after what Ryan did, after the way the whole family followed his lead like I was disposable, I didn't even know who I was anymore. One morning, around 6 a.m., I was lying on the couch again when my phone buzzed. A message from my friend Erica. Hey, I know it's random, but do you still do event planning stuff? My company's team retreat is a mess. We need help. Pays well. Interested? I almost ignored it. But then I thought, why not? It was something. A distraction. A reason to shower. So I said yes. The gig was simple. A weekend retreat for a tech startup's leadership team. They needed someone to coordinate housing, meals, and team-building activities. It was only 10 people. Nothing fancy. I took the job and spent the next 2 weeks building out a plan that would have made a cruise director weep. And here's the thing. I enjoyed it. For the first time in weeks, I felt like myself again. No passive-aggressive family comments. No one expecting things without gratitude. No one pretending I didn't exist while using all my ideas. These people paid me to do what I loved, and they said thank you. Repeatedly. They even invited me to dinner with them the last night. One of the execs pulled me aside afterward and said, "You ever think of doing this full-time?" I laughed. "You mean, like, starting an event planning company?" He nodded. "You're really good. Better than anyone we've worked with before. If you ever go pro, let me know. We'd totally use you again." That sentence stuck in my head the whole drive home. If you ever go pro. Something about that flipped a switch in my brain. I'd been organizing events for nearly a decade, for free, for people who didn't value it. What if I stopped giving it away to people who expected it and started charging people who actually appreciated it? That night, I opened a blank document on my laptop and started brainstorming. Business names, package ideas, a basic rate sheet. It felt strange at first, like I was trespassing on someone else's dream. But the more I wrote, the more I remembered, this was my dream. It always had been. I just never thought I was allowed to chase it. I was too busy playing helpful little brother to realize I was capable of more. Within 2 weeks, I built a website using a free template and a cheap domain name. I called it North Star Planning. Simple, clean, just enough to feel real. I posted about it once on LinkedIn. Just a quiet little update. After years of helping friends and family with events, I'm officially launching North Star Planning. If you or your company need help with retreats, parties, or team-building events, I'm your guy. Let's make something special. I didn't expect anything. But then, something wild happened. People responded. Dozens of comments. Messages. Likes. Friends tagging friends. Old coworkers reaching out. Actual leads. By the end of that month, I had booked 3 more gigs. All word of mouth. All paid. And not once did anyone try to lowball me. No guilt trips. No, but you're so good at this, can't you just? They just hired me. Trusted me. Paid me. It was the strangest, most empowering feeling in the world. Around that same time, I got a text from my Aunt Susan. "Jake, I heard you canceled the Christmas lodge and kicked everyone out. What happened? Ryan said you were upset, but wouldn't talk about it." No mention of the fact that I wasn't invited. No apology. Just concern for the people I'd inconvenienced. I stared at the message for a while, then deleted it. I didn't need to explain myself. Not anymore. I spent February building. I learned how to invoice properly. Made a basic logo. Hired a freelance designer to spruce up my website. I wasn't pulling in huge money, but it was mine. My hours. My work. My joy. And the weirdest part? I didn't miss them. Not the family group chat. Not the endless planning threads. Not the invisible weight of trying to be the glue for people who never held me with the same care. I started waking up earlier. Going for walks. Cooking meals for one without feeling lonely. I even started journaling, something I never thought I'd do. Just short notes to myself. Reminders that I wasn't broken. That being left behind didn't mean I was worthless. One entry said, "They didn't throw you out. You outgrew them." Big difference. By March, I had 5 clients lined up for the summer. One was a small wedding in Colorado. Another was a corporate picnic for a startup in Seattle. The biggest one, a multi-day offsite for a nonprofit in the Catskills, 50 guests, fully catered, with workshops and panels. And when I saw the budget, $42,000. They asked if I could handle it. I said yes, and I meant it. For the first time in my life, I wasn't just the guy who made holidays easier for everyone else. I wasn't background noise. I wasn't the fallback. I was the planner. The one with the vision. The one with the contracts in my name. And yet, in the back of my mind, something still simmered. Not anger, exactly. More like a sense of unfinished business. Because while I was out here rebuilding my life from the ashes of Ryan's betrayal, they were still pretending nothing happened. Still posting photos. still smiling in group shots I was cropped out of. They didn't deserve a confrontation, but they did deserve clarity. They needed to know I saw them, all of them, for who they really were. And when the time was right, they would. There's something liberating about success when no one expects it from you. By April, North Star planning wasn't just a side hustle. It was a functioning business. I had 3 full events under my belt, a modest portfolio, and steady interest from clients who found me through referrals or social media. It wasn't flashy yet. I wasn't posting beach photos captioned #BossLife or raking in 6 figures. But it was mine, and it was growing. Quietly, steadily, professionally. What surprised me most was how natural it felt to keep my wins to myself. I didn't tell my family, not even my mom. Not when my website made it onto a curated list of best new planning startups. Not when I was flown out for a paid retreat in Oregon, and not when a private school booked me to coordinate their graduation weekend. The old me would have texted the group chat with updates, maybe even tagged Ryan in a humble brag post for laughs. But now, I wanted them in the dark. Not out of spite, not really, but because it felt right. Poetic, even. For once, they didn't get a front row seat to what I built. They didn't get to weigh in or water it down or find a way to spin it around themselves. They'd see it later, when I was ready. And as fate would have it, that moment came sooner than I expected. It started with a phone call from a woman named Elaine, a corporate HR manager planning a summer retreat for a nationwide insurance company. They wanted something quiet but upscale, with nature and rustic charm, but not too remote. As she described the vibe they were going for, fireplaces, snowy mountains, a long wooden table for the final night dinner, a thought sparked in my mind. I knew a place like that. In fact, I knew two. You ever heard of Deer Pines? I asked casually. It's a lodge property in the mountains, couple hours from the city. 2 locations, actually. One's bigger, usually used for large gatherings, and the other's more intimate. Elaine was intrigued. She asked for photos, so I sent over some from past Christmases. Not the ones with family, just the decor, the food setup, the room layouts. She was sold. We'll take both lodges, she said. We want to split the team into departments the first 2 nights, then bring everyone together for a final evening. And, if you're available, we'd love to have you on site to manage. I told her I'd be there. What I didn't tell her was that my family had already booked the same weekend for their annual Christmas gathering. I found out by accident, or rather, by design. A few weeks earlier, I had quietly followed Ryan's wife on Instagram with a throwaway event account I created for research purposes. She accepted, and sure enough, she posted a story in March, a shot of her laptop, a glass of wine, and a caption, "Christmas planning in full swing. Deer Pines, we're coming back." Same lodge, same week, same smug tone. They had no idea what was coming. But I didn't want to just crash their party or take their spot. That would have been petty. No, I wanted something better. I wanted to do what Ryan did to me, but cleaner, sharper, legal. I pulled out the old contracts. Both properties were managed by the same owner, Marlene, the same woman who helped me sort through the Christmas disaster last year. She and I had stayed in touch. After the fiasco, I had called her back and thanked her for her help. We ended up chatting about small business struggles, seasonal burnout, and the weird politics of family drama. She was kind, professional, and most importantly, she remembered everything. When I called her again in May, I explained the new event. Corporate retreat, 50 guests, full buyout, top-tier package. She was thrilled. You want the same weekend as last year? That's right, I said. December 20th to 23rd. Both lodges. She paused. You know, I think someone else already asked about those dates. Orion, same last name as yours, actually. I kept my voice neutral. Yeah, he's my brother. He's planning something similar. I think he assumed I wasn't involved this year. Ah, she said, the word heavy with meaning. Well, nothing's finalized. He only submitted a soft hold. No deposit yet. Perfect. Let's lock it in under North Star, I said. Full payment up front. No room for confusion this year. She laughed, light and warm. You got it. Within 24 hours, both properties were booked. Mine. Confirmed. Paid in full. A week later, Ryan texted me for the first time since December. Ryan. Hey man, weird question. Did you book Deer Pines this year? Me. Yeah. Ryan. You mean the big lodge? Like both spots. Me. Yep. Ryan. Why? Me. Got hired for a retreat. Corporate client. Ryan. So we can't use it? Me. You'd have to ask the company. Ryan, dude. Seriously. I didn't reply. He didn't follow up. I pictured him pacing in his kitchen, muttering to his wife about Jake pulling a power move. Probably painting me as jealous, bitter, petty. But I didn't care. Let them talk. Let them scramble. I wasn't taking Christmas away from them. I was doing business. Booking space. Closing deals. What they did last year was betrayal. What I was doing now. It was just good timing. I thought it would end there. But then Rachel reached out. She had been distant since the fallout, but I never blocked her. I respected her silence, even if it stung. When her message popped up in mid-June, I almost didn't open it. Rachel, hey, I heard about the Deer Pines booking. Can I call? We spoke that night. Her voice was cautious, but not angry. You really booked it? She asked. Both. Yeah. Got a corporate client flying people in. It's a big deal. She sighed. You know Ryan's flipping out, right? I shrugged, even though she couldn't see me. He booked behind my back last year. Lied about it. Kicked me out of my own event. He'll survive. I'm not saying you're wrong, she said quickly. I'm just saying they're planning to go somewhere. And I know him. He'll try to make it look like you're the villain. I stayed quiet. Then she said, what if we gave them a reason to believe it? That made me pause. What do you mean? I mean, what if we let Ryan assume you're out for revenge, while doing something completely different? I sat up, intrigued. She continued, you booked the lodges for your event, right? But what if, right before Christmas, you send a public update? Something subtle. A press release. A client testimonial. A post. Let the family see that the place they thought was for them is actually a milestone in your business. A success story. Let them realize they were never the center of your world, and never will be again. The idea sank in slowly. Elegant. Powerful. Public, but not confrontational. It wasn't about humiliating Ryan. It was about removing myself from his narrative completely. No more begging for space at the table. Build your own. We ended the call with a loose plan. I'd proceed with the event like normal. She'd quietly feed updates to family members who still assumed I was taking it personal. And in December, I'd post something public. Clean. Professional. Final. The summer passed in a blur of bookings and back-to-back weekends. I hired a part-time assistant. Got an accountant. Even ordered business cards. North Star planning was no longer an idea. It was real. And I never once told my family. Until Thanksgiving. That's when I got the message. Mom. Hey, sweetheart, just a heads up. We're doing a small dinner this year. Ryan's family is going to Aspen, so it'll just be a few of us. No pressure to come if you're busy with your planning thing. Your planning thing. I didn't reply. Instead, I drafted a post. One that would go live December 20th. The same night Ryan and his Aspen crew would be settling into some last-minute Airbnb, wondering what went wrong. The post was simple. Just a photo of the lodge, lit up in the snow. Tables set. Clients laughing. A caption that read, when they said go big or go home, we chose both. 2 lodges. 1 vision. 50 guests. Endless memories. Thank you to client name for trusting North Star Planning with your end-of-year retreat. Can't wait to see what we build next. I scheduled it. Closed my laptop. And for the first time in a full year, I exhaled. December 20th arrived quietly. No dramatic countdown. No nervous pacing. Just a calm, steady morning where everything went exactly according to plan. I woke up before sunrise in the main Deer Pines Lodge, the same one I'd booked for my family for years. Snow covered the trees like a postcard, the kind people frame and hang up to pretend their lives are peaceful. Staff moved efficiently through the halls. Coffee brewed. Name tags were laid out. Lanyards straightened. 50 guests would arrive by noon, and every detail was already locked in. This time, though, I wasn't waiting for family. I was running a business. By early afternoon, the place was alive. Laughter echoed through the halls. Teams split off into breakout sessions. Fires crackled in both lodges. The second property, yes, the one my family had been forced to vacate the year before, was now hosting workshops and networking dinners. Every room was full. Every schedule block used. Every contract fulfilled. No chaos. No guilt. No last-minute texts asking me to fix something real quick. Just respect. At 6:14 p.m., right as the final dinner was being plated and guests were taking their seats, my phone buzzed. Ryan. I didn't answer. A minute later, another call. Then a text. Did you seriously take Deer Pines from us? I glanced at the long dining table filled with executives raising glasses, smiling, complimenting the decor I designed. I slid my phone face down and walked to the head of the room. "Welcome, everyone," I said. "Tonight's about reflecting on what you've built and where you're going next." Applause followed. I didn't check my phone again until nearly midnight. By then, my scheduled post had gone live. The response was immediate. Likes, shares, comments from clients and colleagues, messages asking about availability for next year. Even the lodge's official page reshared it, tagging North Star Planning and calling the event one of the smoothest retreats we've ever hosted. And then, the family group chat exploded. Aunt Susan posted a screenshot of my post with one word: "Wow." Mom followed with, "Jake, is this why Deer Pines wasn't available?" Rachel reacted with a single heart emoji. Ryan didn't say anything at first. Then, finally, "So you really did all this just to prove a point?" That message sat there for a while before I responded. "No," I typed. "I did it because I'm good at what I do, and because I stopped working for free." The typing bubble appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "Everyone thinks you sabotaged Christmas." I replied calmly, "I didn't sabotage anything. I booked a venue for a paying client. You assumed you could use my name again. That's on you." That's when my mom called. I almost didn't answer, but I did. Her voice was tight, confused. "Jake, honey, why didn't you tell us about all this?" I leaned back in my chair, listening to the low hum of conversation from the lodge behind me. "Because last time I told you things, I was told not to make it weird," I said. "Because I spent years organizing your holidays while being treated like background help. And when I was finally pushed out, no one checked if I was okay. You all just moved on." She was quiet. "I didn't know it was that bad," she said softly. "I know," I replied. "That's the problem." The fallout came in waves over the next few days. Ryan's wife posted a passive message about family drama ruining traditions. People asked questions. She deleted it. My aunt called to apologize, for real this time. Said she never realized how much I handled behind the scenes. Said she assumed I enjoyed it. Rachel sent me a long message that just said, "I'm proud of you." Ryan didn't apologize, but he did stop pretending. A week later, he sent one final text. "Guess you don't need us anymore." I stared at it for a while, then replied, "I never did. I just thought I did." After that, silence. And honestly, it was peaceful. North Star Planning ended the year with 8 major clients and a wait list for the next spring. I hired another assistant, signed a lease on a small office, started saying no to work that didn't respect my time. I didn't go back to hosting Christmas. Instead, I spent it hiking with friends, eating dinner I didn't cook, laughing without worrying if everyone else was comfortable. No one needed me to hold the holiday together. And for the first time, neither did I. Here's what I learned. Some families don't want a hero. They want a helper they can ignore. And the moment you stop playing that role, they call it betrayal. But choosing yourself isn't revenge. It's graduation. And this year, for the first time, I finally walked out of the lodge without looking back.